In today's coaster review, we're here to talk about Twister 2. Twister 2 is a wooden roller coaster located at Elitch Gardens in Denver, Colorado. This was a custom-built roller coaster designed after the famous Mr. Twister roller coaster at the old Elitch Gardens location, about 15 minutes from the current one. It was designed by famed designer John Pierce, who also worked on the Rattler, which is now Iron Rattler, at Six Flags Fiesta, Texas. This ride was constructed by Hensel Phelps and is made from PTC trains, which makes for a pretty smooth ride. In general, I actually don't hate this ride, to be honest. I mean, for Elitch Gardens, it's definitely one of the better rides you're going to find. It doesn't have the greatest stats, really. I mean, looking at it, only got about 100 feet, 91-foot drop, which is decent. You know, should be able to pick up some decent speed. In fact, 55 miles an hour. Got almost 5,000 feet of track, which, you know, all those stats aren't horrible, aren't great either, and that's kind of how I describe this ride. Nothing really too special, nothing really bad to say about it, but let's go ahead and kind of talk about the whole ride experience here. Entering the ride, there really isn't a whole lot in the queue. You kind of pass under a Twister 2 sign, which is, you know, pretty impressive for Elitch Gardens, but besides that, pretty much all you got in the queue is just some kind of pictures of the old Mr. Twister ride, which I appreciate as a Colorado native, but besides that, there's not really a whole lot in the queue, just kind of some weaving back switchbacks in the queue. Besides that, pretty much just enter the station, and the station is not in the greatest shape. Definitely looks like it could use a little bit of TLC, and that's kind of what I'd say with the general layout of the coaster as well. Beginning the ride itself, as you crest over that 100-foot lift hill on the left, you can see the Mile High Stadium, home of the Denver Broncos, and on the right you got some stadiums, as well as the beautiful Denver skyline. This is really a solid coaster with some decent views at the top of the lift hill, but after you kind of crest over that lift hill, you hit a simple bank to the left, which I appreciate really. I mean, it could have been, banked slightly, but hey, I'm not complaining. With the PTC trains, nothing too bad. One thing we'll add is this coaster does have buzz bars, which makes this first drop very impressive. I'm a big fan of kind of how you crest over it in the back. This is definitely a back row ride for me. It's not the smoothest ride in the back. Definitely, if you're looking for a smoother coaster, you would definitely want to sit in the front. But for the back, you're going to get some decent airtime for what airtime there really is on this coaster. It is a Twister layout, obviously fitting for the name there. And that Twister layout doesn't really provide a whole lot of airtime, but as you can kind of see here, there's a lot of laterals, and that's kind of what this coaster I feel like does pretty well. The airtime may not be there besides really the first drop, but really you got a lot of elements where you're kind of getting tousled around in your seats, and for some people that's really one of the favorite elements on roller coasters. As you kind of go through that first lap, there's not really a whole lot of crazy and out of your seat moments, but as you're kind of going through that second lap, you get to see some tunnels, which are pretty impressive. Besides that, though, again, kind of like I say, this whole ride, you see some trims. There's not really a whole lot of really impressive elements about this coaster. And there's not really a whole lot of bad things about this coaster. You get some tunnels there, which are kind of nice. And as you're kind of weaving your way around the supports, not really a whole lot of speed here. I'd estimate it's probably going about 35 miles an hour to 40 right here. Nothing crazy, and you just kind of crest over some light hills and roll into the brake run. So really not a whole lot to this ride, if I had to say, and yet, every time I've ridden this ride, I still feel like when it ends, it's almost like a short ride. You get 5,000 feet of track, which really is not that short, really. And yet, you're only going 55 miles an hour, so you think, all right, it's going to feel like a decently long ride. But really, the ride is not that long. And that's kind of my one gripe with this ride. I mean, it's relatively smooth in the front. It's got okay laterals, okay airtime, just kind of okay everything. But my one gripe with this ride is just kind of how short it is. It's really nothing too special for kind of the track length, and I'm kind of surprised about that. It has pretty good pacing in that first lap, but kind of seeing that second lap pacing, I'm kind of surprised with how short the ride length is. But all that aside, guys, kind of a quicker coaster review today. Not a whole lot to this Twister ride. Would I recommend you guys ride it? I mean, if you're in the area and you're at Elitch Gardens, definitely check it out for sure. Let me know what you guys think about it in the comment section down below. But would I go out of my way for this one? Not really. You got Lagoon with some good coasters. Worlds of Fun, obviously got Prowler, great GCI, and yeah, a lot of coasters in a lot better places than Elitch Gardens. But if you're here, definitely check it out. And that'll go ahead and do it for me, guys. If you guys enjoyed watching, be sure to click that thumbs up button. Make sure you hit that subscribe button, and be on the lookout for more new videos from Theme Parker. I appreciate you guys watching. Peace out.